Hi guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. Sorry it's been a while, I'll go through that in a second, but we're back with issue 11 of the Spitfire. So yes, welcome back. I've had a few issues. If you follow me on the Facebook page, on the Yorkshire Modeller Facebook page, you'll know that I recently had a staph infection in my lower spine, so I've not been able to sit down, I've not been able to do much really until a couple of weeks ago. I started back work, still in some pain, but you know, it's not too bad because the job I do, I'm standing and sitting quite a lot, so it wasn't putting too much pressure on my back. This, however, would have. So unfortunately, this had to take a bit of a step back for a few weeks until I was totally ready to be able to do it again. That means that I now have quite a lot of work to catch up on. So I've got, for the Spitfire, issues 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. And for the Bismarck, I have 63, 64, 65 and 66. And I'll probably be getting 67, 68, 69 and 70 any day now. F40, still catching up on at the minute, just with the issues with COVID, and they've had to push everything back, so hopefully I should have those issues of the Bismarck by the end of the F40, sorry, not the Bismarck, but the F40 by the end of the month. But for issue 11 of the Spitfire, what we've got is we are working on the oil pipes and the nose frame. So we've got the nose frames, pipes, a pump there, that's part of the oil system, and then some of these parts, plant on ones just here. Now, some of these parts we don't use, and we do get an extra part as well. So basically, we go through all the instructions as normal until we get to step 12. Once we've done step 12, which is this one, sorry, just down here, you then get a correction sheet, because they've included an extra part, which I suppose is like a washer that you can put on to stop the engine rattling. So I think the problem that they were having was people were complaining that the engine was rattling like that. So they've put this plastic part in as like a washer to stop it from rattling. So that's that. Now I have already cut the first few parts off of the sprue because they are very tiny, and I did actually lose one. This is the second time I've recorded this video because I lost one of these parts, so I've had to scout around on the floor. Luckily the carpet monster doesn't appear to be too hungry today. So what you're doing is there's a grey sprue with all of these kind of connection parts on. So what I've done, I've cut them all off and I've put them in order. So from where you're looking, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just to keep them all in order. Now these, the instructions say take frame 11.3, check the numbering of the pipe sections, note the way around the pipes are attached to the rings, cut pipe 1 from the frame, ensuring you include the end connections. So where it actually attaches to the sprue, where these 2 points are just here, you have to make sure that you've got those two. I've actually left them on this one, so you can see how they bump out a little bit. I've cut them off at the sprue end, and then what I'm going to do, all I simply need to do is just cut that bit off on each there. So that's that one, and that's that one there. So I'm going to do that as we go down each one as well, depending on what we need to. I've also got myself a new scalpel knife. It's a bit easier to hold. It's, you know, you can be more exact with them. Again, that was from Boyce's. I just get all of my tools from Boyce's, which in the UK is a it's like an everything shop really. They sell DIY stuff, paint, they do sell Games Workshop stuff as well, some of them. That I will mention at the end of this video because that's something I do want to talk about. But yeah, so they sell quite a lot of decent stuff. So we've got those parts cut off the sprue, and like I say, they're all numbered going along the sprue that way. So use a sharp craft knife to cut through the ring on the side opposite to where the pipes are attached. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to hold it that way round, so the ring is facing straight down, and I'm just going to put a nick in the back of it to cut straight through that ring. Now this plastic is very, very soft, so this is actually very easy to do. It also means that things are going to be a lot easier to do, hopefully, because these will be easier to attach. Cut through the... Right, so I'm going to leave it there. I've just cut the first two. So wrap the open side of the ring around part 1, around the first indent pipe 11-1. So this is the indent pipe 11-1 just here. So I'm just going to slightly move the lighting around a little bit just to try and get a bit better lighting in here. So you've got the part just there. So this first ring, part 1, goes at this end. So it goes where the curved part is. Whoops, sorry, curved part just there. It goes just where that is. And the actual pipes themselves have to face slightly forward. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to move this lighting around because I'm thinking it's a little bit dark for you guys on this one. Try and turn it up a little bit as well. There we go. That's better. Lovely. So we've got the ring there. So it's going in this little hole just here. And the little pipes have to face away from this curved bit down here. So that should, in theory, because I've put the cut in it, it should just pop straight on. Yeah, that cut's definitely gone all the way through. There we go. So that hooks on, whoops, just like that. Obviously these pipes will be facing up by the end of it. Wrap the open side of the ring part 1 around the first indent in the pipe, ensuring that the pipes of part 1 lie along the upper side as shown. Note the angle of the pipes. Also see step 4, which we'll come to shortly. Use tweezers to squeeze the cut edges of the ring together again. 1 by 1, cut the remaining pipe sections 2 to 6 from the frame and wrap them around the indent pipes in the order shown, with the fine pieces running along the top of the part. Now obviously these are quite loose, so they are going to swing round. I don't want to glue them, just to be on the safe side. I don't want to glue them and not have to. So we're just going to get all these onto the sprue in the right position. So this just does it in the exact order that they're down here. So it's 1 there, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So well, that took longer than it probably should have. So all the parts are on there. So it's just now a case of getting them into the right orientation when we glue them on. So, step 3. Cut part 11.2 from its frame as indicated by the dotted line. Smooth any roughness on the cut edge. Check the fit of 11.2 over the end of the 11.1 when you're happy with it, glue in place. So 11.2 is this one, this little black one just here. And where we're cutting it is literally, there's a little pin just in there, and that's where you've got to cut it off, just below that pin closer to the sprue. So like that. Now this will sit on the flat end, so not this curved bit that I'm holding just here, it'll go on this end here. So we've got to glue this on. There we go, that's on. And just make sure that when you do get it on, that peg is pointing pretty much straight down. So that's that done. Right, so that's the first 3 parts, sorry, done of this one. So, position the pipe Right, that's that bit. So now we need to bring the engine in. So obviously all the bits we've got just here. And position the pipe 11.1 along the top of the engine so that you can fit the square end of part 11.1 into the hole from assembly AB fitted in issue 9. Do not glue at this stage. The fine pipes run along the top of the engine. So on this curved bit here, right down the bottom, I'll show you just on here as well. Down in this corner, you can see that little pin. That little pin goes into, I don't know whether you can actually make it out on here or not. I don't think you'll be able to because of the angle. But just inside this part here, there's a little square hole. So that pin goes into the square hole. I'll just line all these up on the top of the engine. So, now this bit looks to be very complicated, so I'm really looking forward to this bit. Not. So, at the same time, fit the square peg on part 11.2 into the hole at the top of the large pipe 9.5, as indicated by the yellow line. There is no yellow line. When you're happy with the alignment of all the pipes, glue in place. Ah, that one. Right, okay. Yeah, so inside the engine, just on the engine block, let's get that to the right sort of distance. So what you're looking at is that square peg, that square hole, sorry, just down there. That fits the square pin from that last part that we've just attached to this pipe. So, when you're happy, glue that in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a dab of glue on there now, and I'm going to glue that in to position, whilst at the same time moving all these pipes around so they're not going to get glued in the wrong way around. There we go. So that's going to go in there like that, and then I'm just going to move these other 3 pipes around. Right, so that automatically fits in there, that's fantastic. Right. So, happy with the alignment of the pipes, they're all facing up the right way. I'm going to push that little pin down a little bit more into that slot and just put a little bit of the kicker on there as well just to dry that glue. There we go. Okay, so that's in. So, now comes the interesting part for this part of the build. Free the ends of the first pair of pipes, number 1, fit into the holes at the top of the assembly 9.1 and 9.2, close to the ends of the pipes 9.8 and 9.9. Use tweezers to fit them into place. Apply a tiny drop of glue to the ends of the pipes and hold in place while the glue dries. So, I genuinely can't see where these 2 sets of pipes go in. Oh yes I can, yes I can. So, it's very difficult to see, but these are the 2 pipes that we're on about in this bit. So these first 2, move back a little bit so you can see that properly. So it's this first pipe just after the bend here. Now where we've got these 2 silver pipes, that one there and then this one just running underneath here, there's 2 very, very, very tiny little holes. That's where we're trying to put these parts in. So, I'll just get a dab of glue onto the end of the pipe there, and the end of the pipe there. A tiny bit more on that one, I think. There we go. So, use a different pair of tweezers for this because I'm going with the longer end. So right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop filming so I can get this bit done, and then I'll come straight back to you as soon as I've got this part all attached, because this is going to be fiddly. I've just spent the last 15 minutes swearing like a stub-toed docker. That was stupid. I know they're going for realism. I know they are. But that is just... the pipes on there, the holes that you have to put the ends of the pipes into are tiny. I'm right-handed, so this side of the engine was reasonably alright. That side of the engine, not a prayer. So, I mean, the pipes aren't perfect by any stretch. I mean, especially like this one just here on that far side. It's going out way too far. That was literally the best I could do. And at one point, I nearly ended up throwing this through a window. That would have been bad. But anyway, we've got those parts all glued on now, which is good. So, that was up to stage 9. Really, really take your time with it. Like, don't rush, because if you do, you'll end up doing what I did, and then your engine will go through the wall. I know a lot of you watching this will have probably already built these issues, and you'll know the pain I'm going through. Right, anyway, we'll move on to step 10. So, for step 10, identify the 2 holes on the right side of the engine block 3.10. So those 2 holes just under the engine bay, just there, between my 2 fingers there and there. And the 2 pegs on the back of part 11.4. Now part 11.4 is this one. So the one that looks a bit spider-like. Glue the pegs into the holes, noting the position of the pipes. So the 2 pipes that go straight out the side face towards what is the front of the engine, so away from the supercharger down this end. So let's get me a little pin. I need some more glue as well. That last step did take a lot of glue though, to be honest. So put the glue on these 2 pegs. There. I'm going to put it all over the back of the part actually, I think, just to give it that little bit of extra security. There we go. And then that just gets glued onto oopsie. The 2 holes on the side, like that. Okay, so I can see where that one goes. That one I'm not so sure about. Right, okay, so that goes on. The peg on the end of the shortest pipe. Right, okay. So the peg on the shortest pipe coming from part 11.4 runs upwards and fits into the recess on the right hand side of part 10.9. So that's this pipe just here that comes out of the top of what we've just installed, goes into the little hole that's just in this part here. You can just about make it out there. So I'll be so happy when this engine's done and we've got no more tiny little beeping pipes to do. I'm having a big rant today, aren't I? I've not done this in weeks. I'm having a rant. This isn't fair on you guys. That's it. The next pipe, the lower pipe at the rear of part 11.4 fits into the recess and the detail on the underside of the engine. So this pipe just here fits into the little recess just down there. Move your finger out of the way, James. So it goes into that little hole just in there. So the same thing again. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue straight into that hole. just there, and then weasel that into position. There. That's in. The pipes at the front are not fixed at this stage. So that's everything of the instructions as we do them up to now. So now what we've got is the correction page. So we've got this, and that's the completed everything for what we're doing with this issue. So moving on to the correction, the parts that we need are not the two pipes there. We need all the metal parts there, and we also need the bits that's sellotaped onto the back of this week's parts. So get these out of the bag. So we get a couple of screws, and then we get that washer part as well. So I'll get these out of here, and then we'll just move these parts over, put the screws there, put that washer part there for you guys as well. So take the nose assembly from issue 5, which we've got just here. Remove the two screws holding the motor housing to the fuselage. So, where's my screwdriver gone? There it is. So it's just, by the look of this, these two screws at the back. So it's this one and that one. Now we won't need to use these two screws again. So when these come out, because they're not going to be long enough for the part that's getting attached in there next. So I'll put that off to the side there, and then we'll just do the same thing on the other side as well. There we go. Right, so I'm actually going to take the whole assembly off if I can, which I don't think I'll be able to because of the way they've attached it all together. So it looks like you should just be able to slide this underneath. I'm really hoping that that works. Anyway, so that's that. Take the nose assembly issue 5, remove the two screws holding the motor housing to the fuselage. It does still say that those first two screws are in anyway. Take the bracket 1111 and slide the two screw holes with the holes in the part 2.1 arm of the bracket. Ah, you put that above the bracket, that's why. Right, that's fine. And then on this part here, so this is the kind of washer part, this bit that's kind of protruding should stick up. So that's the wrong way around. That's the right way. So, and then that protruding part faces away as well. So what we do is the cable from the motor goes through the loop created by the bracket. So the motor wire will go in like that. So that wire will go straight down like that. And then fix the bracket in place with 2 km screws. Ensure that the cable for the motor runs between the fuselage and part 2.5, the blue arrow. Right, so this cable then needs to go hook round there and hook underneath there. So I'll slot that in there like that. So that's how the cable should look as well. So we'll get these two screws put in. Now the part itself looks like it's been countersunk, so these screws will fit in totally flush, which they do. There we go. So that's that new part all attached in there then, and then the same on that camera there, so you can see it all attached in there. The cable goes behind it and then it goes underneath this first frame. So that's that part done. So next is step 16. So by studying the diagrams, carefully identify parts 11.9 and 11.7. Note the position of the peg on the right and the tab circled above. So we're looking for the one that's got the pegs on. So these are the two with the peg. So that's the peg that you're looking for just there at the top. And then obviously it's the same on that one as well. Let's have a look. When you've got them in the right position, note the orientation above. Loosen the screw that holds 2.5 in place to make it easier to fit the part. So this is part 2.5, this first frame just here, so loosen that off a little bit. So that gives us a little bit of movement with that part just in there like that. So you can see that's moving a little bit. If we need to any more, we can always loosen it off a bit more. Fit the peg on the lower end of part 11.9 into the socket in part 2.5, top right. So I'm guessing that's that way. And that's going to fit under there. So, check the tab on the other end of the part 11.9 is aligned with the socket on the side of the motor housing, part G from frame 6.6. As you push the top bar of part 11.9 into the socket on the top of 2.5, the tab on the other end fits into place in the lower right. You'll need to fit part 11.7 in the same way. So, now I'm assuming that this one, because it's got the tab on the, as I'm looking straight down it on the right hand side, that's going to go on the left, so that that tab fits underneath this part just here. So if I slot that in there, put that under there, that's it. That slots in there like that, that slots in the bottom like that, and then that slots in the top like that. Now I'm assuming that that is correct. It looks right to me. Fit the second frame into place in the same way. Between the parts 2.5 on the right hand side when both sides are fitted, tighten the screw. So this fits in exactly the same. So if I put that little peg under there, like that, and then slot that part into the bottom down there, that part into the top up there, and then I'm just going to slowly start tightening this screw up, because if you tighten the screw slowly, it's more likely that these parts will sit right like they have done. Perfect. Love it. Love it when a plan comes together. So, that's that done. And again, just on this camera just here so you can see it all in there. Looking good. So, the oil pipes have been fitted to the engine. And the frame has been added to the nose. Parts shown below will be used in future issues, so store them carefully. Note, in step-by-step instructions issue 12, the extra bracket 1111 is not shown, so that's why we've done the correction sheet rather than what's actually in issue 11. So that's coming along nicely, and obviously we've got the pain in the backside engine that will fit in there, and that will fit in kind of like that, I would say. So yeah, that's that done. So yeah, that is issue 11 done. Issue 12 will be up within the next few days. I'm thinking about doing a video every other day for the Spitfire for the next 4 weeks, just to try and get these, or twice a week, to try and get the videos out so that when the next one comes up, I can just, when the next pack comes through next month, I can just build them and start uploading them again as normal. But we'll see. we'll see what happens. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness. It will be going back to weekly soon. Obviously we've just got a few things to iron out with the Spitfire and the Bismarck, getting everything as it needs to be. But until next time, remember, happy modelling and stay safe.